when I think of Tom Hardy, I think of Bane from Batman. Like, I'm going to kill you. I'm a snowman. You're listening to the all-new CultureCast, Chicagoland's finest podcast. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the all-new CultureCast. I'm your host, Nick, and with me tonight is,
of course, Gorehound.
Tonight, folks, we are going to do something to get us into the season, to bridge the gap from Halloween to Christmas time. We have our... I'll let you announce it, Kyle.
We have the Happy Horror Days podcast.
I like how you said horror with a little bit of a vampire twinge to that.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to be talking about a couple of horror movies that are also kind of Christmas movies as they take place during the holiday season, which is kind of a rare thing. You don't see it as much, but every now and again you do see a horror film taking place at Christmas time, which is always interesting to see.
Yeah, it's a solid subgenre that there isn't the expanse of Christmas horror movies or holiday horror movies isn't that large, but there are quite a few gems within that genre.
It's definitely a unique genre in the sense that you don't have a lot of these films. It's crossing genres, and you're mixing the holiday times, which is generally, you see a lot of happiness and togetherness and friendship and family and love. And then you're bringing into this element of horror films, which is horror, to scare you and to get some thrills. So
right, it's very contrasting.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. So I am not the horror guru. Gorehound, you are the Gorehound because you love your horror films. So
oh my God,
I don't have as much knowledge in this particular subject area as you do. So I think you're going to be doing more of the heavy lifting tonight. So let's start us off here. What's the first film you want to talk about in terms of this genre?
I have a few favorites. I haven't seen all of them, though. I can be completely honest when I tell you I want to see all of them. In particular, one series that we'll get to. But I think hands down, I don't know. There's 3 movies that I just love to watch during the month of December. So we will start off with the first one is Rare Exports.
Now, I've heard of this one. I remember a couple of years ago, you were talking this movie up, and I remember seeing a trailer for it, and it looked crazy. What's this movie about?
It's a Finnish movie that was first released as a trailer or a short movie, and it was very weird. It was. I generally think of Christmas horror movies as being, very simple. It's pretty much a deranged Santa Claus, wreaking havoc on teens. But this one is very weird. It gets into the origins of Santa Claus from a very non-American point of view. It's a Finnish film, just like a bunch of guys in a village who are, I believe, reindeer herders. Basically just doing their thing, and then this big corporation comes and excavates this huge mountain, and we find out that there might be a legend that they just unburied.
And that legend being the Santa Claus? Or is that what we're led to believe, but it may or may not be Santa?
Right. It's very interesting because we see what we think of as Santa Claus, the bearded old man. But it turns out that is not what they say Santa Claus is. They say that Santa Claus is this huge monster, and all these people who look like these Santa Clauses are actually just Santa's elves. So it kind of switches that up. So most of the film, you're seeing these elves who look like Santa Claus, but they're just these very weird people. I don't know. As soon as I saw it, I was really let down because when I watch horror movies, I really like to see the monster. If I don't have a full view of the monster, I'm kind of let down, unless it's very intentional where you're not supposed to see it, like the Blair Witch or something like that. Mm-hmm. So you never really get to see the true, I guess, antagonist of the film. But after a while, it kind of grew on me where I I thought this movie was brilliant because you never really get to see him. But the elves really carry out the entire story
Now,
wonderfully.
are the elves like scary looking, or are they just like look like your average everyday Santa Claus?
They're just like an old man who runs around naked in the snow.
Okay, so very,
It's
very
weird.
typical behavior.
Yeah, it's weird. But um, the villagers' interaction, because in the short movie or trailer, whatever it was the rare exports are the Santa Clauses that they have captured and they are exporting out. They have rehabilitated these elves to become what we see as Santa Claus in our malls every weekend. So, and that was what caught me. It was just so weird.
That's really
So
twisted.
yeah, it is. Um, and so at the end of the movie, you finally get to see them, capture them and rehabilitate them and ship these rare exports off to America or wherever. So yeah, and the villagers' interactions with these is, they're just these guys just trying to do their thing and trying to interact. But there's this little kid who is just like he really wants to believe in Santa Claus, but his dad is like, dude, these Santa Clauses are killing off our industry of hunting reindeer because apparently the elves were killing off all the reindeer. But you haven't seen it, right?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no. I remember seeing the trailer a good 5, 6 years ago, whenever that was.
yeah,
And I remember talking with you about the movie briefly around that time because I remember you were really psyched about it.
oh yeah, yeah,
But no, I never got a chance to see the actual film.
yeah. If any of our listeners today get anything out of this podcast, it is that you really have to go see Rare Exports because it is one of the three favorite movies of the Gorehound during this Christmas season.
What's next? What's your number 2 on the list?
These are in no particular order because
Okay.
I love all of these, and they're very different. I mean, Rare Exports is a very dark movie, and then we'll transition into Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg.
What a dumb title. I mean, it's great, but it's dumb.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant.
Now, is this a tongue-in-cheek horror film, or is this like a straight up like?
Yeah, this is straight up horror comedy.
Okay, so it's a horror comedy. So I'm
Right.
hoping with with a title like that, it is a horror comedy, especially with what do you say, Goldberg?
Yeah, Bill Goldberg,
Yeah, especially
WWE, WCW superstar.
yeah, wrestling superstar Bill
Yeah.
Goldberg. Well, yeah, especially with him in it. I don't think you could take someone like that seriously in a film without it being, winking at the camera. But
Oh, right,
what's
especially. Yeah.
this movie about? What do we got going on here?
There's no premise. It's basically you have Santa Claus, Bill Goldberg as Santa Claus, just wreaking havoc. It is the stereotypical Christmas horror movie where
Okay.
it's. I mean, yes, it is a horror comedy, but it's just Santa Claus, just wreaking havoc on people, and there's some teens. One of the teens is I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's from Lost. Um, what's her name? Claire. Claire from Lost is in this before she was in Lost. So that was kind of a fun little.
I'm
But
looking at the cast list. Looks like Fran Drescher is also in this movie. The nanny, the one who had that really high pitched voice.
oh yes, yeah, she's in the very beginning,
Okay.
along with Chris Kattan.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah,
happened to Chris Kattan? He just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth.
yeah. The very beginning scene is great, and the beginning scene of the movie really just drawed me in or drew me in. So yeah, it's so stupid, but it's just so fun because there are so many one-liners, there are so many puns. I think anybody would get a thrill out of this as long as you're not going in expecting, a horror film.
Uh huh.
It's more of a comedy with adult content.
I'm looking at the cast. I'm impressed with some of the people. They had comedian Dave Thomas, cult favorite actor Robert Culp. It's quite the cast they have in this movie.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not a low budget thing by any means. I mean, they have a lot of names in here, and it doesn't look bad.
Oh my! I'm reading the Wikipedia summary. Christmas was the day of sleighing for Santa until 1005 AD, an angel defeated Santa in a curling match and sentenced Santa to deliver presents on Christmas for 1,000 years. This means he's free to kill again in 2005. Okay, what were they on or what were they drinking when they came up with this ridiculous movie? I mean, it's like awesome in its ridiculousness.
I think somebody thought of this awesome title, Santa's Sleigh, and kind of just went from there and knew that they couldn't really get above that title. So they're just like, let's just Bill Goldberg's looking to get into movies. Let's throw him in there.
There we go. See, now I want to check out this movie. Is this on Netflix at all, as far as you are aware?
No, and that is one of my points about Christmas horror movies is that they are actually very difficult to find. We'll move on from Santa's Sleigh, but and this isn't one of my favorite ones because I actually haven't seen it. It's Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, it's a classic, right?
Yes. There are five. There are five Silent Night, Deadly Nights prior to the remake. And it's just one of those series. I mean, I absolutely love 80s, 90s horror series. As soon as you break apart from the third one, it's like, I gotta watch them all. I mean, thinking about this podcast, it was the one thing that kept on coming to my mind is that I really think that Silent Night, Deadly Night could really stand up there because it fits right in with my repertoire. But I think I just have to, just buy it because I'm certainly never going to find it on Redbox.
I wonder if the local library or the interlibrary loan would have it.
Oh yeah, interlibrary loan. I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to Amazon and hope that there's like a series pack or something like that. You haven't seen any of those, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, but the third movie that I always watch during this Christmas season is Gremlins.
Classic.
Yes, indeed. Many people argue that it's not a horror film. But
those people would be wrong.
Right, because no, you don't have any just brutal massacres, but Santa's Sleigh has brutal massacres, but Gremlins you don't really see your stereotypical horror because there's not I don't know. This was also check out the rating of Gremlins.
I believe it was PG, but I'm glad you brought this up because this movie...
Yeah, PG.
This movie was really criticized for being as violent as it is and that it wasn't given an R rating. Same with this and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah. Wait, was this out when they still had the PG-13?
No,
Okay.
It's funny. It's that Steven Spielberg kind of led the charge because he produced Gremlins and he directed, of course, Indiana Jones. That he says that there needs to be a rating in between PG and PG-13 because he argued that his movies, those two particular films, they didn't deserve an R rating, but they were a little bit more extreme for a PG rating, which eventually developed into the PG-13 rating. Which nowadays it seems like PG-13 has become the new PG.
Yeah.
You rarely see a PG movie released. Even a lot of animated films are either G or PG-13. So we can credit Gremlins on that. Now, I have seen Gremlins. It's been years and years and years since I've seen it. What do you like about Gremlins?
I think it's kind of like the Home Alone effect, where it just makes me feel just so cozy that it's fun. You have Gizmo. You have
Gizmo.
You have a complex. The story behind it is very complex. You get the cute little Gizmo, and then they evolve via very specific guidelines. They evolve, obviously, havoc ensues, and then we want to, resolve the issue. It's not a simple plot. It's very complex, and it keeps you really engaged in it. And all the characters are so unique. I mean, even the love interest actually has a very interesting story behind her. How her dad died trying to act like Santa Claus going down the chimney. I mean, that's pretty good right there.
It gives it some unique depth.
Right. These aren't just placeholder characters. They really fit in. And, the difference between Gizmo and Spike, even though they're the same
Is it
species.
Spike or Stripe?
Oh, Stripe. That was it, Stripe, yeah. Even though they're the same species, or whatever that is. They're just so drastically different. And I love thinking about just what is a gremlin or a gizmo or a mogwai. It's such a cool thing. It's not, I don't believe it's a monster. I believe that it's kind of like a unicorn, where it's just like this fun species that may or may not have ever existed or could ever exist.
What did you think of, just on the topic, what did you think of Gremlins 2, the new batch?
I really didn't care for it. It just seemed like I don't own it, and I would probably never watch it unless I was like feeling really into Gizmo or something. Yeah, I just didn't care. It was way too much. They tried to up it so much. It just lost me. What did you think?
Again, it's been years. I remember thinking it was just a very strange movie
Yeah, like you
that
had the Kelsey Grammer, like really smart gremlin. It was just like, it's weird.
what I remember hearing about this film, I guess the director Joe Dante, he did not want to make a Gremlins 2. I guess no one wanted to make a Gremlins 2. Like he said we did one, we don't need to do any others.
Yeah,
But then they gave him like a truck full of money, and he's like, "All right, fine, but I'm doing it my way." And he purposely made it go over the top as a way to express his frustration out of the studio wanting
yeah,
him to make this movie, and because everything's so commercialized in it,
yeah.
and everything's so sanitized that it almost becomes a satire on
Hmm.
what it's actually a satire about itself. Which, in that way, if you're looking at it like that in that way, it's kind of I can appreciate for that, but yeah, it's just it's a very strange little movie.
Joe Dante, I really like as a director, and apparently Christopher Columbus wrote this, who is also the director of Home Alone.
Of Home Alone, yeah, and a couple of the Harry Potter films, if memory serves right.
Yeah, and I can really see it because it's just a very comforting film,
Hmm.
where you have this real sense of family while still really incorporating really funny elements and just iconic scenes that you're always going to remember.
What's the
So,
next film on your?
well, that kind of concludes my three films that I always watch: Rare Exports, Santa Sleigh, and Gremlins. I think are just like the best Christmas horror movies out there. And there are a lot of other ones, and I don't really. I mean, I will watch them just because they are rare to
Hmm.
come across.
They are a rare export. Uh, uh.
There's this other one which I really wanted it to make the list, but it just didn't really hold up. It's called Saint or Sint. It's a foreign film where it's more of a darker film, but it's still horror.
What's this one about? I've never heard of it.
It's similar to the Santa Sleigh, where you just have, Saint Nick. He's been banned from, causing havoc for a certain amount of years, and those years are up, and now he's coming to, catch up.
Is this more of like a serious version of Santa Sleigh?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah,
Like if Santa Sleigh was more of a comedy, this one's more of a straight up horror film.
yeah, yeah. That's a very good analogy. I didn't think of that. But the problem with this is that it's the subtitles really get me. I don't know if the
Mm,
actors just aren't very good, or I'm just caught off guard, or they're just making like really really stupid decisions that are just illogical. But there's just so many times in the film where I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just getting bored with this.
mm.
So I really wanted it to be good. It did not hold up.
What about Ghostbusters 2? Is that a Christmas movie in your eyes? I mean, it takes place around Christmas time.
I would say not.
Oh, I
Because
mean,
it's Ghostbusters. It's kind of its own film. Yeah, let's go through some of these lists that
okay,
these people have compiled.
okay.
Um, there's Silent Night, which is the modern day remake of Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Hmm.
It's Christmas horror in the sense that yes, you have Santa Claus causing havoc, but nothing else is really themed. It's pretty violent for modern day, but it's no Saw. But it is still. I would watch it if I had a free night because it is enjoyable. It's just not memorable. There's nothing that's going to bring me back to it on any particular December weekend.
Okay.
You have Jack Frost.
The one with Michael Keaton where he plays the snowman?
Yes, that one.
Oh, okay.
No, but both of those are the same exact title.
Yeah.
So if you send your girlfriend out to go get Jack Frost, it's hit or miss.
Although, in fairness, if you remember the CGI from that movie, it's pretty horrifying. So you might get scared either way.
Yeah.
But okay, what about this? What about Jack Frost?
It's stupid. It's good if you're looking for some gore, or just the novelty of a snowman going on a killing spree. It kind of reminded me of Chucky. It's very violent language, and yeah, it is really.
What about speaking about Chucky? What about Child's Play? Some people consider this a Christmas horror film?
Yeah, I guess I've never really thought of it. Yes, Chucky is a toy, and yes, it does take place around Christmas. But I don't think that's enough to really qualify it as a Christmas-themed horror movie.
Let me ask you this question. Do you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes.
See, what makes that a Christmas movie?
But it's not a Christmas horror movie.
True, it's a Christmas action film.
Yes.
And they're bending genres, because why doesn't Child's Play necessarily make the cut as a Christmas horror film?
I don't know, maybe it's the inclusion or it's the exclusion of Santa Claus or any sort of origin of what Christmas is. It's a toy and it's taking place during a particular month of the year, but there's really nothing else that, just screams this is during the Christmas season.
So you need Santa Claus to be an element of your Christmas horror.
I think so. Santa Claus or an elf.
Something beyond just it taking place on December 23rd. That's your rules.
Right, because you can have just like a chick flick that takes place on Halloween, but that's not a horror movie. It's just a Halloween-themed chick flick.
So, just a point of comparison, the movie Hocus Pocus. It might be a Halloween movie, but it's not necessarily a horror film.
Well, no, that is a horror film because it does include witches.
Well,
in a perhaps horrific tone to some younger audiences.
I'm just trying to get an idea of your.
Yeah, I feel like it's concrete. Where if I watch a movie, I know whether it's Christmas themed horror movie, but there aren't really any rules. It's kind of just like whatever the Gorehound thinks it is.
All right.
It is.
So you got your rules that are
unwritten rules.
Your unwritten rules that okay. So, all right, I will defer to you in the future on your rules.
Yeah, that might be easier. If any of our listeners are questioning whether it's a Christmas themed horror movie, send me an email on our Facebook page.
On our Facebook, or send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. Yeah, there you go.
And we will respond to it promptly in the next podcast.
Yes, promptly is a relative term, but we'll eventually get. If we actually get emails, we should do a
podcast devoted to that email.
Yeah, or responding to people's email questions. So, you should do a write up on the blog about what constitutes a horror Christmas movie in your way. So you could set the rules. Like this is the Gorehound's rules.
That for what constitutes a true zombie film because I did one on zombie animals and what actually is a zombie animal, and I got a whole bunch of reviews from that. So yes, maybe I will do that. What Christmas themed horror movies are you thinking of right now?
I just came across one on this list called Santa Claus, as in.
Oh yeah, brilliant name.
Yes, it looks like it's a very low budget POS movie about an actress who's being stalked by a fan, and the fan is dressed up as Santa Claus. His weapon of choice is a claw. I don't exactly know what constitutes a claw, but I do know that the image on Wikipedia's DVD for it is the tagline is his sleigh bells are ringing. So it looks really, really stupid,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, because I really want to watch movies, stupid movies like this, but it's just we can't find them.
mhm,
Redbox isn't going to carry them, and I don't think Netflix is ever going to carry them. We're pretty
probably
much
not.
forced to just buying them outright.
Let's see what else at once they have. There's Santa Claus,
Yeah.
Jack
Another
Frost.
one.
Oh my God, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at an image from Jack Frost with the snowman,
Yeah.
and the picture they have here. He's in the shower with a naked lady.
Oh yeah, that's Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah. One of her first appearances. Um,
When did you know? Now I'm curious. This says that Jack Frost came out in 1997. When did the Michael Keaton one come out?
Afterwards.
That's what I'm thinking, but it had to come around the same time.
Yeah, it looked like a year afterwards.
Wow, they did not. Yeah, okay, yeah. They did not think that one all the way through, did they? I
He's
love.
chilling and killing.
Oh my, Jack Frost 2: The Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. And oh my, hey, they're making a remake of it.
No shit.
Well, according to this, according to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia never lies.
Yeah.
Um, in 2016. So, okay, there you go.
Looking forward to that.
I don't know why they need to make a remake, but they are. So, okay, this has to be a comedy. I'm just reading something about here. In
Oh
20,
yeah, yeah, because the second one takes place in Hawaii.
okay.
So
Well, I'm thinking like I mean, this must be a mainstream comedy because this is what I'm reading here. In 2016, the remake of the film of the same name, starring Tom Hardy as Jack Frost, and Tom Hardy is he's a marquee name. People know who he is, and Simon Pegg is going to be in it as well. Simon Pegg being from Shaun of the Dead fame and
yeah.
others. Those are pretty big names for them to remake this thing. It's with that kind of star power. It's got to be a straight up comedy. It has to be. It has to be.
Oh man,
Of
Tom
course,
Hardy is Jack Frost.
of course. There's no citation, so this might be just someone having a laugh. But
Yeah. But they got it. They got it.
yeah,
Because now I'm imagining Mad Max as Jack Frost.
yeah. What about Nightmare Before Christmas?
What do you think about it?
I would count it as because you got Santa Claus and you got the Halloween Town. And they do some pretty horrific things. I will say it's more of a family horror film, but
Yeah.
it's still a horror film. I think
Yeah,
I think it
but
defines.
brilliant for crossing genres
Mm-hmm.
because you can't really pinpoint it on either or.
Mm-hmm. I would classify it as a Christmas horror film. I
Yeah.
guess I guess part of it has to do with the fact that first time I saw it was on Christmas Day. Like
Yeah.
when I hosted Christmas a few years back, I just had movies on, and that was one of the ones that popped up on Netflix, and so I watched it at that point. So it counts for me as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I won't argue it. I have no strong opinions on that film either way. One of the last films that I really that I find to be a respectable Christmas themed horror movie is Black Christmas.
Hmm.
Both the original and I believe that the new one is the new one the same title.
I think so.
I
From
thought it was
2006.
I thought it was Xmas.
Oh, yeah. On the poster it says Xmas, but I think it's said the same way.
Okay, yeah, yeah. The original and the new Black Christmas are both pretty good. If you're not familiar with the story, it's basically a sorority house that has been plagued by a deranged killer who attacks on Christmas. That I don't remember if he's dressed up like Santa or not, but it is very. This is Christmas time of year, and Christmas plays an important part in the film. So, I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but it is enjoyable if you're looking for that type of movie. So, have you seen that either?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, they are slashers. They're certainly not family friendly, and they are serious. But there's just a modern day slasher, which pretty solidly succeeds.
I'm looking at the cast here. It's a fairly it's interesting who they have in the cast because a lot of the names in there at the time may not have been big names, but now they've kind of gone on to more high profile things like
Oh yeah, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
yeah, and Lacey Chabert, who I guess she was kind of popular in the mid '90s,
Oh yeah, Mean Girls.
and then came back in the mid 2000s. And Michelle Trachtenberg, who had a variety of different.
Was that Harriet the Spy?
It was Harriet the Spy.
Yeah.
Was also on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a bunch of other different sort of things. And Kate Cassidy, who is currently.
Look at you. You know your celebrities.
I do. Is currently. Who I guess she did a number of horror films with When a Stranger Calls and the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, but she could currently be seen on Arrow as one of the female leads in that show. So they've kind of gone on to more. I mean, I won't call them A-list actresses or anything like that, but they've have risen through the ranks of genre films and have kind of know them in one way or another. Any other films that you want to throw out there for a thing? I'm totally blanking. My mind's mushy.
No, I think I've covered about all the films that if I was recommending somebody to go watch a horror film, I think I've given my opinion on everything worth watching. Do you have anything left?
No, I got nothing.
Before we close out, I do want to say that the upcoming Krampus
Oh yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that because I think it could really jumpstart the genre because Krampus is I don't really know who he is really. I just know that he's awesome. And when you can bring Santa Claus and a monster together, you're going to win me over. But yeah, a lot of people are looking forward to this, in particular because there's a few big names in it. In particular, that the cute guy from Parks and Rec.
Oh, Adam Scott?
Yeah, Adam Scott is going to bring all the girls to it. He will be bringing them to a very good movie. So, you've seen the trailer, right?
I have, but I kind of have been avoiding it because I kind of want to go in as fresh as possible. Of course, when I go and see it is any...
In particular, my sister even invited me to go see it with her. That is pretty impressive that it is reaching across the generations.
Your sister's not that much older than you, Kyle. I wouldn't call that cross generations.
No, she's 1 year younger than I am.
Oh, she's even younger.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I believe it's December 5th. I'm going to go try to see it opening weekend. We'll see how that goes.
You'll need to let me know how it turns out.
Oh yeah.
So.
I mean, there's a few Krampus films out, and all of them are just god awful. They're just really low budget, difficult to find, stupid. Any word that you can describe a bad movie with applies to a Krampus movie. And so I'm really hoping that this one will be the one that sticks, and we'll get to see more Krampus movies. Maybe somebody will actually tell me who Krampus is, so that I don't have to Wikipedia it.
Yeah, I don't know who... Oh, wait, I could send you... I'm going to send you a clip on your Facebook. Okay. And when Dwight from The Office dresses up as Krampus.
Yeah, I've seen
and that will answer all of your questions. So, all right, I think that kind of is going to do it for us as we kick off the holiday season. With holiday horror. So happy horror days to you, Gorehound.
Happy horror days.
I make no promises that our future episodes leading up to the Christmas holiday will actually deal with Christmas, but this will kick off your season. So
yeah, it's a good start.
So, all right. Thank you, Gorehound, for joining me tonight.
Thank you for listening.
And thank you for all of our listeners. We've been at this. This is our 8th episode.
Going strong.
Going strong there. I will say, for us being two nobodies, we've had... So far, within the past 2 months, 53 actual downloads of our all of our episodes. What I have to say is more impressive than I was expecting.
Wait, 53 total?
Yes, of all of our episodes combined. But considering we're not exactly on iTunes or anything like that, that's not too bad.
So that means about 6 people are downloading each week.
Well, I guess that's one way of looking at it. I'm looking at the stats right now. Our X-File episode has been our most popular one. No, I take that back. X-File has been most popular for November, but overall, our horror movie one has been downloaded the most.
Huh.
Now, I don't know how many downloads of that have been us, but
Yeah.
um,
And that doesn't count streaming, right?
no,
It
no,
only
it
counts.
counts streaming. Like how many people have clicked on the link to listen.
Okay, I follow.
If someone straight downloaded it, yeah, I don't know about that, but just from what I can see here on that,
Gotcha.
so
Well, someday when we can quit our jobs and just podcast for a living, people will come back to these episodes and be like, "Oh man, I was there in the beginning. There's
yeah,
6 people
yeah.
who are downloading our podcast.
If you're
I
listening to
swear."
if you're one of the 6 people, hopefully it's actually more like 9, but whatevs. If you're one of the 6 people, yeah, send us a line. We'll be happy to give you a shout out on a future episode. All right, well, that's going to be enough babbling on for tonight. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all soon. You've been listening to the all-new CultureCast, where every episode is all new. Check out our blog, Zach and Nick's CultureCast, at znculturecast.wordpress.com, and find us on social media. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Theme music by bensound.com. The all-new CultureCast, a saltwater production, copyright 2015. He also wrote the classic 1980s film, which I'm not a fan of, The Goonies.
I agree with you on that. I didn't care for Goonies either.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Vindication. We're going to get so much hate mail.